What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel. As today we are unboxing from the Wrestle Something Wrestlers line and figure collections. It is the Patriot, aka Del Wilkes. Really excited about this one. Always been a huge fan of the Patriot, and he fits right into that retro line. So very excited about this one. Excited to unbox it. Of course, the Wrestle Something Wrestlers line, kind of a retro line that slides under the radar a little bit, but they've done some good ones. Most of the first wave I did pick up. And, of course, that was before I did the channel, so I didn't have those to unbox. But I do know Wave 2 was we're going to look at the roster here, actually. There's Wave 1, too, so that works out. We can talk about that. Wave 1, I did pick up Colt Cabana, and I picked up the Headbangers. I did pass on Chelsea Green, Mike Chioda, and Effie. Mostly just with Effie, I don't really collect a lot of modern guys. I don't really feel like that works in these. Every now and then I'll make an exception, but that one I didn't feel like I needed. The Mike Chioda didn't do much for me, and the Chelsea Green, honestly, also did not do much for me. But I love the Headbangers set. That was great. And Colt Cabana was a lot of fun, which I guess that he does kind of a current guy. But he's a guy I knew in the business, so yeah, it kind of works out. But Wave 2, I believe you can still pick up most of these. Of course, we got Vlad, the super fan, which is a really fun one. Macho Man Randy Savage, two versions of him. I actually picked up the version of him where he was dressed in the same attire from the the table hockey game, which I thought was really fun. We, of course, got Marcus, Buff Bagwell, and then here the Patriot, Del Wilkes. What a layup that we didn't get Stars and Stripes. These two guys as Stars and Stripes, are you kidding me? One of my favorite WCW tag teams. Those guys were awesome. I actually have customs that Jason Wolf made me of them in their Stars and Stripes gear. I actually had to order the heads from two different people, and then he kind of put it all together, and it just was incredible. But that's one that bothers me because I'm like, how do you not do Stars and Stripes there? So hopefully that's coming. I would love to see another company pull that off. There's a company called Top Rope Collectibles that's got a Buff Bagwell or a Marcus Bagwell coming in the Stars and Stripes gear, and they're doing Galoob style. I actually got the PN News in the other day from their line, so I'll be unboxing that relatively soon, hopefully. But yeah, I would love to get him in the line as well as the Patriot. Like, that would be just a home run to me. So hopefully that happens. But Retro Fever, man, what do you guys? You guys feeling it? You guys feel like we have too many retros happening? I like them. I love the retro line. I've always loved the retro line. This is like the toy line I grew up with. One of my all-time favorites. So definitely not upset that we have retros, but it is a real thing, and they're getting a little bit more expensive. I know Wave 3 of these went up for pre-order, which included Mance Warner, two versions of Crush, Steph DeLander, and Scotty Too Hottie, or I think Scott Garland, his real name. And I didn't actually pre-order those. Not that I didn't want them. It was just like, so many things are happening all at once, and, it's like you got to have to make those decisions sometimes, and it is what it is. And I utilize the pay in fours and all that good stuff, but sometimes it just makes it hard. But what are you going to do? Of course, the Patriot, a guy we all probably remember from his time in WCW, but then, of course, showing up in the WWF in 1997 and immediately kind of becoming a player. Like, I remember not knowing who this guy really was, and next thing you know, he's wrestling Bret Hart on a pay-per-view on Ground Zero in your house. And just as quickly as he got there, he was gone. It was crazy. Because I know he appeared at the 97 Survivor Series, I believe. Then I heard he hurt his ankle. And then, by early 98, he was gone. Really crazy. He did make an impact, but he just wasn't there very long. And he had a Bindum back in the day. He did have a Bindum, and he had a Slammers figure from Jack. So he did have a couple of figures, but not a ton. Like, for the time he had there, it's like you didn't see a lot of them. I do remember on the game WWF Warzone, you could put his mask on. I don't remember if his exact pants were on there. They were similar, but they definitely had the Patriot mask, and so I always created the Patriot for my roster, because they had his mask, they had the Vader mask. You could kind of do those guys. It was hard to make them exact, but you could kind of makeshift make Vader, makeshift make the Patriot, and they did team a little bit back in those days, so it was kind of interesting. But the card looks great here, classic Hasbro style artwork of the Patriot, the autograph there. I like the figure collections licensed product, Wave 2. I like that right there. All looks really good. I will say this is an interesting thing. He's got a hole in his hand right there, like he's meant to hold a flag. I wonder if this was supposed to include a flag, but we don't have it. We're going to open it up here. What do you guys think about that? I mean, it would have made sense to include a flag, right? He is the Patriot, right? He carries the flag. But no flag obviously was included, so makes you wonder if that's something we'll get maybe down the road. I don't know. It's not a deal breaker for me. You got the classic clothesline pose there. Doesn't look bad. I think the gear looks good. The head looks good. Good articulation. It's definitely a Hasbro style. Figure collection toys. Got a peg hole there if you want to stand them up. I would like to have the laces maybe in the back of the mask, but that's a nitpick. This looks a little weird to me. If you do his shoulder up like that, that's a little uneven, which I don't necessarily love. So I'll probably keep it that way. But it looks like to me like you would hold him right here and you put the flag pole right there, and he'd be carrying his flag out. Beggars can't be choosers. Like I said, this guy looks really cool. I've always liked the Patriot, so no surprise I would like this one. I do know Sean over there at KWK recently did La Resistance with flags, so I guess if you wanted to, you could maybe turn those into an American flag. I think Boris Yukov from the Epic Toys line also had a flag. So flags can be done. What do you guys think about them not doing the accessory? Is that a deal breaker for you? To me, it's not, but it would have been nice. It would have been a nice touch, I think. What are you gonna do? But I like I said, I really feel like, and I've got Buff Bagwell over there, Twin Box. I think having Stars and Stripes as a tag team would have been a home run. So hopefully, we see this kind of revisited, because that's actually a set I will most definitely pick up. Is even though I already have them, I want to get the Stars and Stripes versions. Definitely fun stuff. Overall, though, there's not a lot you can say about a retro other than it looks really good. I do know at one point Rush Collectibles actually had the Patriot, and I don't know the specifics of what happened, but obviously Figure Collections ended up with it, so it is what it is. But we're seeing that a lot in the retro lines, where a guy is with two companies or signs with one company, and then all of a sudden he's with another. We've seen it with Zombie and with Mitch over there at Hastel Toy. Most recently with Mabel, because Mitch released Mabel. He released, I think, 3 different Mabels over the last probably couple of years. We got Men on a Mission versions, a King Mabel version, and then he redid Men on a Mission, kind of updated the paint a little bit. But now Zombie's showing his version of Mabel. Well, that's kind of one of those things. Like, it looks good, but is it necessary? That's where I think everyone's gonna have to vote with their wallet a little bit and decide. Okay, that's cool, but do I have to have it for my collection? It's hard to say. But this Patriot is really, really cool. Like I said, with the retros, there's not a lot you can say other than it's a nice addition. I guess you could put it next to your Bret Hart. We can do a couple of comparisons here to kind of look at scale-wise. We got Kurt Fuller here from Grapplers and Gimmicks. Pretty similar. And we also got Chris Van Vliet here from Rush Collectibles. So you can kind of see how they would compare. So, pretty much right in there. And we got another guy. I'm putting all suited guys up here. How about Bobby the Brain Heenan there from Epic Toys? So, again, they all are a little bit different, but not a crazy amount to really matter, I wouldn't say. But regardless, there are a lot of retro companies out there, and if you're getting retro fatigue, I certainly understand. But at the same time, if you're not, it's kind of a pick'em for most of us. There's so much out there, and I feel like I used to collect Funko Pops. Back before I had the job I had now, I was pretty broke a lot, and Funko Pops are basically the only collectible I could afford. I liked the fact that they were cheap, and a lot of places offered deals, including eBay stores and some actual physical stores where you could, buy 2, get 1 free, things of that nature. And so I developed a pretty good Funko Pop collection. Well, that might be a first time ever. I actually was in the middle of recording and my phone died. So check your battery before you start making YouTube videos, ladies and gentlemen. But I was discussing talking about the Funko Pop collection. And the point I was making, like I said, they were easy to come by. Funko Pops were available everywhere. You could usually get deals. But what happened with those, at least for me, again, this is my perspective. I got so many, and I started buying ones I didn't necessarily want. I was just buying them to buy them. And I think, you start developing a big collection, and it gets bigger and bigger. And you're like, man, do I need this? Is this something I need? And I feel like that might be happening with retros a little bit, because we're seeing a lot more companies pop up almost daily. And they're giving us guys that we never even dreamed of. In some cases, I could see someone being like, oh my gosh, I have to get that, because I never would have guessed I would have made that. And then other people being like, there's no reason ever I would need to buy that. So again, I think we might see a little bit of retro fatigue. I do know Hastel Toy and Zombie Sailor are dipping into the 6-inch scale action figures. I wonder if, figure collections like these guys, I wonder if they might do that. Or, I'm trying to think of, or, maybe Epic. I know they did a little bit. They did a Sabu, I think, and maybe a Dynamite Kid. There may still have been Cella at the time. It's hard to know. But I could see some of these other companies dipping into that. But at the same time, the prices of action figures. What's even going to happen? No one even knows at this point. So it's anybody's guess. But like I tell people, find your joy. Find what makes you happy. We only have so much money. Some have more than others. And, in my opinion, if you're on a budget, which we all are to some degree, you got to buy stuff that you legitimately want. Or you're like, man, I really want to buy that. It's something I definitely want. And maybe other stuff might, have to take a back seat. Because sometimes that's just the way that it goes. But all in all, I like this Patriot figure. I'm glad I picked it up. I think Figure Collections is doing a good job with these. Will I buy all of them? Probably not, but I do like to dabble with these a little bit. Like I said, I'm getting retro fatigue a little bit too, and I'm a guy with a whole box of retros over there I need to unbox still from all the companies. So, it'll be interesting for sure to see what happens. But thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. Check out some of my other unboxings. How about Captain Spaulding from the NECA line? A really fun figure. Unboxed that a while back. How about Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers? Check those guys out. I mentioned Rush Collectibles earlier. Check out the Frankenstein sample. That is a freaking awesome figure. In fact, I got 2 versions of Frankenstein over in my retro pile that I need to unbox. Those will be coming up sooner rather than later. If you're a fan of the Big Rubber guys, how about Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, the Road Warriors, Dusty Rhodes, and others, all available from the Collect Major guys and the Big Rubber guys line. How about, talking about retros, how about Kurt Fuller from Grapplers and Gimmicks, representing his time on No Holds Barred? How about Chris Van Vliet from Rush Collectibles? How about Epic Toys' Bobby the Brain Heenan, all available in the archives as well? How about, are you a fan of those Matt Maniacs figures? How about the Steiner brothers, Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner, just recently unboxed those, and the Legion of Doom before that. So both of those are available in the archives, which is not really retro, but something kind of different, which again might be the key. Doing something that's similar, but kind of different at the same time. So many other things I want to unbox. I'll reveal it here. I started a starting lineups collection a little bit, so those will be getting on the channel hopefully soon. Also a Kenner Total Justice collection. I'm going to be unboxing those as well, so look for those relatively soon. So many other things. So many Mattel Elites to unbox. I mentioned the Headbangers. How about Pat McAfee? I unboxed him a while back. How about the Goon? That was a fun one. Very random, but super fun. And a lot of Spawn figures, like Commando Spawn. Who else have we? Medieval Spawn, and we've also done Saber, all available in the archives, so check those out as well. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. That's not all I got. Oh my gosh, check out the Tales of the Toy Box show. The first episode is available now. It's all about Street Fighter G.I. Joe. Check that out. Also, when we hit 100 subscribers, there will be a giveaway. I don't even know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be a good one. And more details to follow. So make sure to subscribe if you're not. And tell your friends. Let them know so they can subscribe as well. The more subscribers, the more we can build up the audience and get free stuff, right? Everybody loves that. Also, check out the TB Toycast podcast every Thursday with me and Travis. We have a different main event talking about a classic toy line and all the happenings in the toy world. Things we like, things we don't like, things we're picking up, things we're selling off, all that on the TB Toycast each and every Thursday, wherever you get your podcast. But that's all. That's it, officially. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. That's the Patriot, and we'll see you guys in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.